Let's go.
Cool. It eats up half of my head. That looks great.
You look bald. All right. Well, welcome everybody to our first Boo Crew Review podcast, where we're just gonna yap about our adventures, about our last upload, and introduce ourselves a little bit. Justin, do you want to lead us out?
Sure. So I'm Justin. Hello, Justin Cam Nation. Outside of ghost hunting, I work with dogs. I got into paranormal stuff. I've my family's always been into paranormal stuff. My mom was a very big into mediums for a while, and we had a lot of just ghost talk and a lot of ghost adventure times in my house. I mean, I didn't really start getting into it until our first trip a couple months ago, or almost a year ago now.
That was
Yeah,
so
it
long
was
ago.
End of October last year.
Yeah, so it's
Oh yeah, it was like the weekend before Halloween.
I definitely fall more on the skeptical side. I have a lot of I don't want to say concerns. It's hard for me to.
You have a lot of suspicions.
Yeah, I'm suspicious of a
lot of
things.
skepticisms.
I'm very suspicious of a lot of the just general paranormal stuff. I'm very much in the house of I want something provable, something that we can actually, without a doubt, say this is what this is. And I'd say probably most or highest on my bucket list for location would probably be Sally House. Oh, there goes Lindsay.
There goes Lindsay.
Hi,
Awesome.
Lindsay.
Well, Alex, why don't you go ahead next? I'm just gonna go right to left on
yeah,
my
that's
screen.
Fine. So, hi, I'm Alex. I hang out with Justin Camelot.
Hi, Alex.
Hi, Alex.
Thanks. Hi, Alex.
Are we in AA? Jesus.
No, so I mean, outside of ghost hunting, I am an assistant general manager at Panera Bread. Nothing too crazy. I've always been into the paranormal. My grandmother, going over to her house, I was always really into watching the big ghost hunting shows with her, and I'd always stay up on the phone all night talking with her about it. And I mean, I've had a couple of experiences that kind of also got me more interested. So I mean, in terms of that, I definitely believe in the paranormal. I don't know exactly how far it all particularly goes, but that's kind of part of the fun of actually investigating, in my opinion. So, in terms of my paranormal bucket list, it's not technically obtainable right now. I genuinely want to go see the Conjuring house. It's one that I really want to, but I know currently you can't.
Right.
So
yeah, we can only hope and pray that they get new owners soon.
Yes,
one day.
I'm genuinely hoping, because that's top of my list.
That'd be fun, because that one's so iconic. It's really
a
shame that all the drama has come out of that place. Right, Cody, you're next.
Well, I'm Cody.
Hi, Cody.
Hi, Cody.
Hi, Justin Cameras.
Hi, Cody.
My day job is I'm a parts manager at a diesel truck and trailer repair shop. Nothing glamorous, just I have always done blue collar work, and just another thing on the list. When it comes to the paranormal, it's kind of similar to Justin. I grew up my mom was huge about the paranormal. I grew up on stories about this one bar she used to work at way back in the day, and we used to watch all the shows. I remember growing up watching Ghost Hunters, the Taps crew on Sci-Fi, and just it was always some of my favorite memories, because I could stay up late to watch that with her before bed, and we'd have ice cream, and it was just good memories. So it's always been something I've been interested in. And for personal experiences, there's always the stuff that you feel like you experienced growing up, like the things that you feel like could have been weird, out of the ordinary, or whatever it may be. But I've never been able to like have any tangible evidence, like Justin was saying. I'm a believer that there's spiritual things out there, and there's a certain mark left on this world, whether it's, something that's residual or currently still active. But I'm also someone that very much likes to find the proof in it, and I like to debunk what I can debunk, and I don't want to just assume every little knock and tap is, a ghost or a spirit or some sort of activity. And then bucket list. I'm from like a small scale perspective, I'm definitely right along with Justin on the Sally house. That's definitely a small bucket list, but like a bigger place for me, and it goes hand in hand a little bit with, like, not hand in hand, but similar setup currently, with Conjuring, is the Sweet Spring Sanatorium. I think that place would be pretty nuts. And there's another one that I've been itching to like learn more about, and that's Crescent.
Oh yeah.
Crescent Prison, yeah. But those would probably, I'd say, be my bucket list places. We got a couple actually that we're gonna be doing, spoilers, doing later in the year that are gonna knock a couple off my list. So gonna be exciting. Good times. Good times to come.
Lindsay, you want to go next?
Sure. I'm Lindsay. I also manage a popular bakery
Lindsay.
cafe chain. I guess what really got me in the paranormal, I mean, my grandmother has always been like a huge believer of that stuff. But I kind of found it more on my own, just watching like Ghost Adventures and things like that. And that's just always been something that's just kind of interested me. I haven't had any like tangible paranormal experiences. I've had a couple of things happen here and there in my life that could definitely be like unexplained and kind of unordinary, but nothing that's like, really concrete or anything like that. I do fall a little more on the believer side than skeptical, only just because of some family things that have, occurred. I've always been told all my life my family's got an extra sixth sense, you know. In terms of a location bucket list, though, I don't really have one. I'm more of just here for traveling and seeing, and I actually enjoy a lot more of like the history and stuff of the buildings and what they were used for. So honestly, everywhere I guess is then on my bucket list if you think of it that way.
Wherever the science takes you.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you should go into that a little bit because we called you the actual scientist, in our video. So yeah, why don't you dive into that a little bit?
Yeah. So I recently graduated with a bachelor's in environmental science. Which, funnily enough, a lot of environmental factors do play into how ghosts communicate, or potentially communicate, and so those kinds of factors actually play a lot into what I've learned over the course of my college career, I could say.
That's just super cool to have somebody that can actually put some of our equipment pieces into like an actual scientific perspective, because a lot of the times you buy this equipment and it says, it has all these sensors and stuff. It's like, as someone like me that doesn't really know about that kind of thing, it's nice to have somebody that can kind of explain it. So, and validify it a little bit too. All right, I will go next. I am Kaylee. I am a graphic design manager. Hi.
Hi, Kaylee.
Thanks. What got me into the paranormal? I kind of fall into the same category as Lindsay, where I kind of discovered it on my own. I remember just stumbling upon watching Ghost Adventures one night, and I got hooked immediately on like the history of these locations and just how that crew, did their investigations back in the day. And it was kind of funny because like you guys all talk about how your family was all really into it. Mine was the opposite. I'd have to like record it and watch it by myself later, because I'd have the peanut gallery behind me just like laughing and making fun of stuff like the entire time while I'm trying to be like, taking it really seriously as a kid. I'm like, these people die here, blah, 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 blah. So I think that kind of pushed me a little bit into doing this on my own, because it's one thing watching it on the television and knowing that there's likely some type of producer in the background telling people, okay, something has to happen in this episode, blah, 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 blah. Not saying that it's all fake, but I feel like, it's probably safe to assume a lot is faked or exaggerated for the camera. So I actually found a separate paranormal group about 3 years ago, and I started investigating with them to get the evidence myself, to put myself in the locations and see what I feel, what I hear, what I experience, because I just wanted to experience it for myself. And I'm still with that group. We don't do any content creation or anything like that, but I've been to about over 20 locations already in the span of 3 years. So also with Lindsay, I love the travel, I love the history, everything like that. Even if we don't get anything on an investigation, I still love that I got to, put myself in the shoes of patients or wherever and just experience the history. So before then, I didn't really have any type of paranormal experience that like jump-started my journey. On the skeptic to believer scale, I find myself falling more in the middle. I don't always believe, like, when our equipment goes off that it's something paranormal, but you got to keep yes-anding it to see, how far can you push it? Can you get it to keep responding? Can you make it go on command, like the 3, 2, 1s that I do a lot? So I find myself being more skeptical of equipment, but when I'm feeling something, that's when things start to feel more real to me. Like when my heart starts racing for no reason whatsoever, or if I'm just like feeling like there's somebody staring, in the back of my head, that's when I start paying more attention to the surrounding. And on my paranormal bucket list, with Cody, Sweet Springs for sure, and Pennhurst. I feel like Pennhurst is the one location where it's like I need to visit this place before either something happens to it or I'm not able to do this anymore. It's just like,
I feel like Pennhurst would be a really good like we book an entire weekend kind of place, like a 2 or 3 day straight investigation.
Yeah, I think we would need to, with how small our crew is. We'd never see a portion of
Absolutely
it.
Not.
So I agree. If we ever do it, it's got to be a weekend. All right, and that wraps up our introductions, unless anybody else wants to throw anything else out there about who we are.
Going back to the what we've experienced thing, I was thinking about it, and there was a time where Alex, Lindsay, and I were on a trip. Oh, this is probably, this
was so many years ago now.
12 years ago, something like that. We're on a trip out of state, and we stayed the night at a family member's house, and Alex and I were in the basement sleeping down there, and I cannot put into words the like dark, heavy, like creeping feeling that he and I felt all night. Like we did not sleep that night. There was just something off about it completely. It was just, and it goes back to the whole like if you're feeling something thing. Obviously we didn't see anything. We didn't necessarily like hear anything that I can recall, but it was just this instant feeling of there's
like
something off going on down here. Yeah. And the fact that we were both feeling it, like without even talking about it, we both kind of looked at each other and like knew like there's something weird, So that's a little tidbit from our history way back when.
I also probably mention we're all high school friends. We've known each other for like a decade, over a decade.
So many years.
So many years.
Jeez.
And
go ahead.
Go ahead, buddy.
I was just gonna say, I think all of us at some point along that journey, like, all bonded over like ghost adventures. I know, at least for like me and Lindsay, that was like one of the first core memories I have of us hanging out is like texting about like the last episode that we watched.
That's awesome.
Pretty cool.
But yeah, I was so stoked when you guys, specifically Alex and Justin, when you guys found out that I was doing the paranormal stuff and you were like, how do we do this? And I was like, oh, wow.
Yep.
I've been doing this a few years. I know how to reach out to these places now. So I was so stoked when my high school friends, we all kind of rebonded because you lose touch a little bit over, when we graduate and stuff. But we all got pulled back together and started doing this, which I think is just really cool.
Let's say Alex, Kaylee, and I have known each other since 6th grade, so
Yep.
dating us a little bit here, but 16, 17 years ago?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
God, you made me remember what time is.
Yeah, dude, it's crazy.
That's crazy.
I would say you guys did that first investigation back in October, and you guys were nice enough to like stream it on Discord for me, and that's when like I was like, y'all, like, why didn't you hit me up for this? This was so up my alley.
Yeah, I had no idea at the time that you were so into the paranormal too. So that was just cool that you could kind of experience what we were experiencing through the phone screen a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like you were part of the team even before you were part of the team.
This was the guy behind the camera before there was the camera.
Mm-hmm.
It was still
You
so
were the
cool.
camera.
Just to derail a little bit, when we were having that experience where we were hearing stuff, and you through the phone, through the stream, were also hearing the noises that we were hearing.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
we all
Yep.
got so quiet because it was so uncomfortable. We were just hearing things like all above us. I won't say what the location
then
was
I,
in case we want to put in little.
I dropped the thing when shit was happening.
Oh, that's
my
right.
remote.
You literally
Yeah.
dropped something in the middle of that, and
and
it freaked
scared
us
the
all
I
out.
dropped the
heck
remote,
out of
and
us.
Justin was like, "F you."
We don't need this right now.
It was scary.
It was really scary. When all of us shut up, something is freaking
Yeah.
us
Yeah,
out.
no,
Yeah.
100%. Because when it comes down to it, we're all a bunch of yappers. This is what
Yeah.
we do.
That's
what we
yeah.
We're Midwestern. We have
Except for
to.
Lindsay. Lindsay's like the quiet, nice, like
She's the
considerate.
scientific observer,
yeah.
like just taking it all in.
The rest of us just won't shut the fuck up.
And thank God for Lindsay.
Yeah, thank
We
God.
don't need another yapper.
Yeah, me and Justin do it enough.
All right, well, let's get into our video that we uploaded. Jericho Haunted Trinity. First of all, what was your thoughts, you guys? Like, how did you feel coming off of that investigation?
I think that was in terms of just like vibes, I think that was probably our most like upbeat, fun like investigation we've had so far.
I agree.
I feel like we got a lot of activity, and it was not like heavy activity. Again, not to spoil other places, but I feel like the other place that we've been recently, all of it has been pretty heavy. Like all of our significant evidence from there is like, oh wow, this is
Messed up.
very weird. Yeah, this is weird and like uncomfortable in one way or another.
Weird night.
It was a
yeah,
weird night.
Whereas I feel like Jericho, we had a lot of stuff, and it was just kind of like, I don't know, just like good times. Like it was
Mhm.
just.
I mean, you guys got bullied, but it almost felt
Yeah.
like good
Well,
fun,
it wasn't
kind of.
even-
I mean, it was
so,
fun
like,
for us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's in terms of that, it didn't feel literally up until we started doing our final walkthrough of that place, which talk about that later. I will agree with Justin. None of it felt really like bad. Nothing
Yeah,
felt
like
heavy. Nothing felt like mean.
Mm-hmm. It didn't
Like,
feel we were
genuinely
in
mean.
danger at any point.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that things would be like spooky or like unsettling, but like that's the whole. I mean, that's what we're doing. That
Yeah.
everything we do is going to
Yeah.
be weird and unsettling. And you guys didn't get to see it a lot in the video, but like Alex and I in the bloopers section had like a lot of moments where like the
Sign up to
ghosts
our
were just
Patreon.
kind of where the ghosts were just kind of like f***ing with us, where like we would get up to leave and something would go off or tell us like don't go or something like that. And we'd be like, okay, why? And then nothing would happen until we get up to go again and be like, oh wait, actually come back. And we're like, no.
Yeah,
I don't know,
it's something.
maybe just our methods that we were using at the time just weren't jiving with the spirits there. Like maybe they were actively trying to communicate with you, but our methods just weren't
Yeah.
working for whatever reason.
Yeah.
And then the whole Peter saga, like we got plenty of good times out of
Peter.
that.
He gave us so much like
I don't give a
direct
shit.
responses. I don't
Peter
care
was
what
an
you guys say.
asshole.
Hate
I mean,
him.
maybe he
I
said
hate
we
him.
sucked at one
Hate
point
him.
in the spirit box, but no,
Fucking
that was
Peter,
insane.
bro.
Like, it wasn't really until we started reviewing the evidence that's like, holy crap, we got a lot here.
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
a lot.
Like, in the moment, you don't think like, oh, our REM pod's going off again. Oh, whatever. Like, we go back and we listen to the spirit box, and we missed so many things. And I
Yep.
think that's just a skill that we'll develop as we continue to do this.
Skill issue.
Yeah, it was a skill
Oh,
issue.
definitely
Like,
a
they were
skill
trying to
issue.
talk to us, and we're just like, what? But yeah, we got a lot of responses on the spirit box once we were able to, repeat it and rewatch it and listen to it again.
I think for being my first actual investigation, I thought it was an awesome first investigation. The vibes were good. Vibes were immaculate. Had a good time all around. And we, like you said, we caught a lot of stuff that we did not notice. It felt like things were at like a good pace throughout the whole night in terms of activity.
Except for the
We had
school,
the-
and like a lot of that was not the fault of the like spirits. It was more that the school just had a giant hole in it with a tarp
Yeah.
that
Yeah, we
sucked.
didn't really touch on it much in the video, but they were working on some construction inside of the school, and there was a big hole on the main floor, and they had like this tarp, and it was windy, so every time that the wind would come through, you'd just hear this like, whoa sound. So the only place we could really investigate and not have as much noise contamination was in the basement.
I feel like it was cut out a lot, but the amount of times we probably said "fuck you, tarp" throughout
Yeah.
that night.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, there could have been a counter for that. That was like the whole
Absolutely.
any moment in the school.
That
I know
and
when
the
Alex and I were in the
window.
basement, there was a lot of
Yeah.
us like whispering, like that was just the tarp to each
Yeah.
other because like we'd stop.
In the moment, it's
And one of-
horrifying.
Yep.
So
Awful.
loud.
It was so loud for a tarp.
Yeah, when we were down in the boiler room, me and Kaylee and Lindsay, I remember multiple times stepping up towards the like stairs to like see like was that the tarp? Am I hearing that correctly? No, it's definitely pretty cool night. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that one was good.
Yep.
So when we started our night, we always do our initial walkthrough. We call it our low tech vibe check. Got that term from Tattoon, but it works. I mean, it's just walking through the building, seeing what you're feeling as you walk through without being distracted by all these lights and noises from your equipment and stuff. Did you guys remember feeling anything when we walked through initially?
Well, I remember specifically Alex and I immediately felt like something in the basement of the school for a little while. So I remember during that we actually like split off to go hang out in the infamous naughty room.
The naughty
for a
room.
while.
You guys were
I think
naughty.
before we like actually even like officially went in there for our little session, I remember us just going in there and like I don't know, feeling some sort of presence there with us. But outside of that, I don't remember anywhere else where I felt something similar.
Yeah. I think Lindsay, I recall you having some feelings when we walked through the church on the main
Yeah.
floor.
Yeah, the main floor of the church was what gave me probably the most which I mean like it was just like heart racing type things going on, but not a lot of like, we shouldn't be here or anything like dark vibes or anything like that. Just like there's definitely something here. And I didn't get a lot of it from the school or really from the convent, but it was definitely the church that gave off the most when we were doing that.
Yeah, I agree too. I think it was when I started walking down the stairs into the church basement is when I started feeling just a little bit of like heart racing. Nothing bad like we've said before, but just like, oh, it feels like somebody's down here.
Mm-hmm.
When our first stop, we set up in the church basement. I know we set up the flux. The flux worked really well on the stage. We had some direct
Yeah.
responses.
No, I was definitely happy with the flux. I think there's still like a learning curve to it in terms of like what's just like weird, like something weird setting it off and what's
Mhm.
actually responses and like getting a nice like sensitivity setting for it. But I was pretty happy with it overall, and throughout the night, honestly, because we busted it out a few times. Um, solid piece of equipment, I think.
Yeah.
And
Solid
I think we had
yes/no
some-
equipment.
I think we had some pretty in later uses of it. We've had some pretty cool like interactions with it. So
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. And it's
Big
always
fan.
tricky with those pieces of equipment that have the sensitivity settings because you don't know like what's the spot where it's gonna start just picking up anything and everything.
Everything and anything.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was trying to figure out a lot of time throughout the night. Is what was just going off to go off, and what was actually giving me some sort of like intelligent response. So I think it's a very cool yes/no equipment for sure.
Yeah, agreed. And then where did we go next? We went. Oh, we did it on the choir. We brought all of our equipment. We set it all up below because Steve, who is the caretaker of that building, he recommended that we just set up our equipment and then go up to the choir and just watch. He said in the past people have experienced just like their equipment going off while they've just been observing, basically. We didn't really have a whole lot of that. It didn't seem like our equipment went off on the
At all.
altar,
No.
except
No.
for
No,
Alex's
that-
millimeter, and that was much later in the night.
Yep.
I was gonna say that spider web of equipment that we had set up down there didn't really do much.
yeah.
No. And one thing that always irks me when I'm watching other paranormal investigators is it always irks me when they just start busting out all their equipment. There's just tons of lights and noises and stuff. Because it's like, if I was a spirit and somebody just started busting out all this weird equipment that I'm not familiar with, I'd be like, I'm not touching this. I don't know what this is going to do. I don't know if this is going to hurt me. So, when we investigate, I like to try to bring stuff out, one piece at a time.
Sporadically.
Yeah, sporadically instead of just, here's everything. Go crazy.
Just throw the entire backpack at it.
Yeah. But yeah, I always try to tell the spirits too, like, this equipment will not harm you. It's just a way that we can communicate with you because we can't see you. Try to just make it more comfortable and appealing for, somebody that might not be familiar with all this gadgetry. Just encourage them to come and try it. And then, Alex, you had your solo that was not planned.
Impromptu.
Yeah, literally
we were
impromptu.
bad friends. When we started the night, we're like, okay, if somebody wants to
No.
do a solo, we're going to stay in the building and like stay on the stairs so that if they call for us, we'll hear them. No, we went completely opposite side up in the attic. We were like, bye, Alex, have fun in the
Bye,
basement.
buddy.
It's Alex. You don't have to worry about him.
He
went-
had it. I don't think we were bad friends for that.
No.
That was one of those, like, as soon as he got the summon, he's like, yeah, I'm going down there, like, no fear.
The,
Yeah.
We know
the
he
motion
wanted-
sensor.
he wanted
Yeah,
to be
exactly.
alone.
That was like a wanted request.
Yeah, I was gonna say I was like, it caught me off guard more than anything. Like in the video, like watching over it, I definitely sound more nervous than I was. I definitely want that is like all I like. Put me like any of those stupid like challenges and things. Just put me in there.
Yeah.
Like I'll do all of them.
More
Like
often
I don't
than
care.
not, we have to try to like pull Alex out and be like, hey, this is not the time to be doing this thing. Like, it's uncomfortable. Don't do this. Even in our final walkthrough, you were like, I'm down to keep going. And me and Cody were like, nope, we're not welcome here. But yeah, there wasn't just a
Alex
part
is
when...
definitely
Yeah, he's definitely the
definitely
bravest.
yeah. Well, bravest and just wanting to do the shit
Yeah.
just to let it rip. I think those are two separate things.
It's a little bit of
But-
both.
It's a lot of
It's a little
both.
bit of both.
A little bit of he was crazy
A little
once,
bit
so
of
He's crazy
I-
ones.
bravery
still
and
is
crazy go
crazy.
hand in hand. Just a little bit.
I was just laughing because when we reviewed the video, there was a point where Alex, you said, can somebody come down here? And we couldn't hear a word that you were saying
Yeah.
over the IDC device and everything. We're just like, bye! And then you just kind of gave up. You're like, oh, okay. Guess I'm doing my solo.
No, I think as I was talking about it, I'm pretty sure one of you literally goes, "Yeah, we're going upstairs. We're going up
I
to
think
the roof."
me or
Yep.
Justin said it, yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, that's. I'm just gonna go do it."
You're only a couple floors away.
only a couple, you know.
Just
And we
a
had,
few.
a spirit box. We couldn't hear if he was yelling for
Did not have a
help.
walkie-talkie
Did not
on
have a
him.
walkie-talkie.
No.
Or anything.
No,
It
no.
was
Actually,
awesome.
I had nothing. I had nothing. I
No,
had
you,
my
you,
Well-
had you, your IDC, and your millimeter, and that was it. Man.
And your camera.
Yeah,
That's all a man needs.
that's all an Alex needs. Absolutely.
Yeah, so how'd you feel during your first solo that you've ever done?
I mean, like I said, it was definitely nerve-wracking. It as I had said before, it is something that I'm totally down to do because this I have wanted to do paranormal investigating pretty much since I learned about it back when I was in middle school. So being able to do this is literally a dream come true for me. But I mean, it was very quiet. Obviously because I was by myself. I didn't use the IDC device like I probably should have. It was mostly uneventful. I had a little bit of stuff on my Melrem combo, but it wasn't anything definitive, so it wasn't very. I didn't get much out of it.
Yeah. And we kind of got that from the
Left you a little restless.
Yeah,
He wants more.
yeah.
Saw
Yeah.
that at a later place.
Yeah. Stay tuned.
Yeah.
Stay tuned.
Yeah, then the rest of us, we went up to the attic and had probably the most profound direct communication with a spirit that I've ever had. I don't know. I can't say for everybody else, but for anybody else on the internet. But yeah, I mean, we didn't really realize it in the moment, but the REM pod going on when we asked it to, going full 4 lights when we asked, like immediately after we asked, and turning off when we would do, back away, 3, 2, 1. Like, it wasn't until we reviewed that it's like, holy crap, this was like an hour of direct communication. And it just like blew my mind once we were reviewing all of that.
I think the biggest thing for reviewing that too was all of the like chatter that we missed. You caught a lot of it in the video, but we just didn't like the when we're talking about the ladder, for example. Like there was just a lot of very intelligent back and forth, even to like the spirits that were there.
Yeah.
That in the moment we just were not paying attention to,
No, we
or
weren't
like
paying
just
attention
didn't
to
hear.
at all.
Yeah,
No,
You
we
can
would've-
tell in the video that we like aren't even like
Yeah.
acknowledging any of it. But like, if we actually knew what they were saying, I think we all would have been like, "What the hell?"
Yeah.
Because
I think that's always going to be the
like,
case.
Yeah, it really
I'm
felt
gonna
like
be
there
honest.
were 2 spirits that were like having a conversation. Like, is he gonna go up? Like, oh no, he's.
I'm gonna be
he's not gonna
honest.
do
It's
that.
probably a good thing we didn't hear, because like if I would have heard
Oh,
like
then you
a
would've gone
spirit call
up.
me a bitch, he's not gonna do it. I was going up. Are you kidding? I'm not letting a spirit call me out like that. What?
That's the guy
Oh,
who got
absolutely.
kicked out of the room by a spirit.
He didn't
Banished
call
to the
me
bathroom?
out. He just asked me to fuck off, and I fucked
And you're
off,
like,
and he didn't do anything
"Fine."
cool. Like, here's the thing. I was hoping when he like was like, "Can you go to the other room?" I was like, maybe there's something cool's gonna happen, like
Mhm.
some
There's a little side
wild
quest
stuff.
you got.
And he didn't do anything, man.
I
And
know,
then you
you
got
tried,
kicked
what,
out,
2
and he still
EVPs?
didn't do anything.
Yeah, you tried like 2 EVP sessions.
God, I
over
hate
there?
Peter, bro. Yeah. I tried an EVP session when I got over there, and then when Justin came over there, we did a second one.
And
Nothing.
we just fucked off to the
Nothing.
basement.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we were like, all right, we're done with this.
Fuck Peter.
God, I hate him.
We gotta go back. We gotta talk to that man again. See what his problem was with you two.
I think me and Cody gotta have a retribution moment with him.
A duo.
Yeah, just sit up
power
there until we get
investigation.
something.
We're not leaving till you tell me what your problem is.
I'll set my cot up there, man. I don't care.
Good luck bringing it up all those stairs. Holy crap.
He'll do
Those
it.
narrow
yeah.
stairs. Alright, where did we go next after the attic? I know we went back to the convent and had our snack break.
Snack
Or no,
cans.
the
Snack
snack
time.
break,
Snack
snack
camp.
break was before that, but yeah, we went back. We had more snacks probably. And then I think that's when we started splitting up, right? So
Yeah. So I think you guys went to the church next,
Is that
and
when we did
Alex and I went to
Confestus?
I think
the
that's when we
school.
did
Yep.
Confestus,
Yeah.
and that's when they
Mhm.
went down to the naughty room.
We were
Which
Naughty
naughty.
boy.
Was probably one of my
Oh, it would
favorite
be
parts of the
naughty.
video. That whole section was so funny to watch. Not in terms of evidence, but just watching you two in the naughty
I think
room.
the best part of it is just how the like what was going on between the two of us at the exact same time, because the video is pretty synced on like what was happening on either end. So like the I wonder what the boys are up to moment, where then it just flashes to us just being obnoxious.
Just being the absolute worst.
No, it's one thing. So like it happens a lot. It didn't make it into the video, but there are so many points in which me and Justin definitely were like, yeah, we're hanging out and we're not really getting too much. They're kind of telling us to, leave, come back. And then, the other team, they like their chairs are floating in the air or something. And I'm pretty sure we talked about it in the school.
You did.
Because immediately after that was when Confestus was brought up, and
Yep.
we're like, oh yeah, cool.
Mhm.
I think I made some comment in the naughty room, like, I bet they're, like, being touched or something, and then,
Yeah.
flash to
You said
Cody.
that we're gonna have like the most profound poltergeist experience or something.
Yep.
Which that's gonna be made into an extra short at some point because it's hilarious. So stay tuned for bonus shorts behind the scenes, extras, however you want to call it. Cody, your
Yeah.
Estes in the confessional had to be one of the craziest Estises that I've been a part of. What was it like
That was
sitting in there?
So being my first time under Estes, and being like my real first time, like, because I know we were messing with the IDC and the spirit box up in the bell tower, and kind of getting things here and there. Like obviously, like we said, we missed a lot. So my first time doing Estes, that was it was a very cool experience, but like the first a couple minutes or whatever, I was getting kind of in the groove of it and how I wanted to tackle how to do it. But then it kind of just clicked, I want to say, and everything
then
just
it
started
blew up.
flowing with it. Yeah, and then we started getting responses. I had and man, the glasses thing was just so weird to me because it truly felt like I felt the movement, the back of like the glasses pull on my shirt, and it really threw me off because
Yeah,
first
you threw off your
investigation.
headphones. You were like, "What?"
Dude, yeah, first investigation, first time doing Estes, like, and I have some sort of direct contact that definitely threw me for probably the next like 30, 40 minutes.
And we caught it. We caught
Yeah,
that little
and we
itty
caught
bitty
it, which-
movement.
That makes me feel
And-
so much better that I wasn't just like in my own head about it.
Right. And I mean, we tried to like debunk, like, okay, was it the cord from your headphones? Like, did you have your glasses on top of the cords, and then like if you moved, it tugged it or something? But the cord was above the glasses, so any movement wouldn't have, pulled on them like that.
Cord was above. I wear this necklace, but that was tucked under because I had like 2 or 3 shirts
Yeah.
on, and the glasses were only tucked into the top layer shirt, so it was in between 2 different fabrics.
Mhm.
And so it wasn't my necklace, it wasn't the
Kind of crazy that you
like
were
you
able
said,
to
the
feel that
headphones.
slight movement through, 2 layers?
Well, it felt a lot like a much bigger like
Yeah.
I know the camera only sees it like shift, like
Yeah.
a very subtle shift, but like feeling it felt like the thing fucking just moved. Like completely just went like this, and that's why I was like, oh no. But it was that was definitely an eye-opening experience for me. That's when things really like the floodgate like bust open for me for the
Mhm.
night, I'd say.
Well, that's like kind of the first time when you're being the speaker for the Estes method. You're the one that's like dialed into, the spirits and really trying to focus on connecting with them. And I think personally that it really draws the energy out of you if you have a connection like that, which you seem like you tend to have. Stay tuned for that. Happens multiple times. But yeah,
We've come to learn my Estes sessions are
are
something.
wild, as we said in the video. Wild. So and then you also got touched the second time. We didn't catch anything on camera, but you thought like
Yeah.
something shuffled in
See,
your
I
ears.
really believe that one was just me in my own head.
Yeah.
Because we didn't catch
'Cause your
anything and I was
adrenaline was
already
up,
kind of
yeah.
like on edge from the first thing. But then you guys got the response instantly.
Yeah,
Did you
that was
touch
pretty
them?
crazy.
Yeah. I was like, reviewing it, I was like, oh shit, come
Yeah.
on, man. No, definitely a very cool experience. Definitely a, like you said, a draining experience, but on like a very high, good note, kind of.
Mhm.
The adrenaline was pumping. I was in good spirits, good vibes afterwards. It was definitely a very cool, eye-opening experience for me.
And then we swapped places and we went to the basement and you guys went up to the Confestus. And you guys had a pretty crazy experience there too. Got the double
Yeah,
REM
we
pod
did.
Yeah.
activity.
Yeah, so
and-
I mean, oh, you can go.
I was just gonna say that was another experience of not realizing some of the responses that we got until we rewatched, and we were like, oh, that is like some of that was like pretty direct.
Just the two
Yeah,
REM
that
pods
was-
going off at the same time.
Yeah, on
That was
opposite
crazy.
ends.
Yeah,
Very far
that
apart.
was nuts. It obviously didn't really. It wasn't shown that well in the video, but because obviously they were really far apart. But they were a sizable distance away from each other. So the fact that they were both going off the way they were was insane to me.
It was from like the entrance, basically, right? The opening
Yes.
to the altar,
to that
right?
chair. To that chair.
Yeah.
That I
Yeah, that-
was
I mean,
getting
that's
so
like-
many.
It was basically opposite sides
That's
of
a
the building.
solid like 30 yards.
Yes.
30, 40
Yes.
yards.
So I don't know how to explain that. It was two different devices too. It was my REM pod and your Melmeter. So two
Yep.
different devices that were going off at the exact same time, a considerable distance apart. So I don't know if there was like an electric surge or I have no idea how to explain that one. If anyone has an
Yeah,
idea,
that-
comment below.
Nice.
Yeah, please,
Well done.
because that was a spooky moment for me.
Right, because you were the one that was asking questions.
Yeah, and that was I think the first time I'd been in a situation like that where it was like so clear that like something was going on, and I had Alex there, but like he was
Yeah.
fully away, so like
Yeah, he was
You
he was
can't-
under.
he's not experiencing the same thing I am, so yeah, just really cool. Again, it was what, November-ish?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it
end of
was
November.
cold, but I don't know, something about like that time, like when I think back to it, like I was very cold in that moment. Like I just remember being
So-
really, really chilly.
After my Confestus session, I even made the comment, and Lindsay was on the side of the table with me, like from like a 2 feet away difference. There was a massive like temperature heal.
Mhm.
Like, and I mentioned in the video, like, I know the confessional booths were like on an outside wall. But the temperature drop from the confessional to like 2-3 feet outside of that booth, it was night and day. Like it felt like a sunny day compared to just
Yeah.
like freezing temps, and that
And then
really
the
threw me
spirit
off.
talker
So
too said, "I'm by
Yeah.
your side" when you guys were
Yeah.
talking about that. So that was just another.
So the
piece
fact that like we had that weird temperature, and then you were feeling that, Justin. No, I think the fact that we had two different like situations, two completely different like phenomena going on between the Confestus on our end and your guys' REM pod stuff and the temperature changes. It was pretty cool. Same location, like an hour, 30-40 minutes to an hour difference.
hmm
So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, as far as that whole location goes, the church felt like the place where not just that we had the most activity, but the most like intelligent activity. Where like things that we were asking were being responded to, or like things that we were looking for were happening. I don't think it got into the video, but when Alex and I were like cleaning up the whole night, we were talking about like, what if that there's like a cane that was like tied to the ceiling for like people to hang equipment from, and I just remember the whole night Alex and I were like talking about, oh, it'd be so cool if that were like swiveling or something, or swinging. And when we were cleaning up, we walked down there, and sure enough, very, very, very slightly, the cane was just lightly swinging back and forth. And it's like, I don't know, that just feels like a weird coincidence after how much we were in that basement talking about how cool that would have been. Or
Did it feel like did it feel like one more of those moments that you guys had all night together where
oh yeah,
literally, like,
it's
extra,
so,
like, kicking
because
the
that
ass?
one, no, because that one leads into literally the next part. So the REM pod up on the roof up in
Yep.
the bell tower, like going crazy. Obviously, we made the comment how me and Justin were saying that, you know, we were just kind of getting bullied for the most part, and that we were getting all these little responses to keep us like dragging along, and then the other team was getting all this crazy stuff. And as we were cleaning up and we looked at the cane, we were leaving and we were like, yeah, and we're gonna walk up. And I still had my Melmeter REM pod combo sitting on the chair at the time. As we're walking up, we're making comments about how, oh, it's gonna be like floating and spinning in the air. And for the first time that whole night for me, mine was actually getting like something was touching the antenna.
Yep. I remember the look on your face because we made that joke as we were coming up the stairs into like the pastor's area. And all of a sudden we heard the beep and you just said something like, no shot. And we like slowly walked up and looked. And again, to go to my previous point of like the whole night you had been talking about like, oh man, I just want something to touch that. Like I want to see that. Nothing. And then as we come up the stairs, like something is actively touching it. And again, I remember saying something like, watch, we're going to walk through and it's going to stop. And sure enough, you walked through the doorway and just dead. Just
Done.
nothing. And it was like, yep, that's about right.
That sums up our night.
They were really messing with you guys. That's
Yeah.
so
There was the
funny.
convent stuff that didn't make it in for us.
Yeah.
Probably one of my favorite, like
Pick that shit up.
our little crash out that we had in the attic.
Did any of the convent stuff make it? I don't think so, right?
No.
There really
I
wasn't
mean,
anything profound in there.
The video was
No.
already an hour and 40 minutes long.
Yeah.
And I
Yeah.
was struggling to cut stuff.
Yeah.
It's the convent also wasn't. At least personally, outside of the little bits that we did get, nothing made sense. And then once again, it was no different. Like the naughty room pretty much summed up a multitude of locations for us, like me and Justin, where we would go somewhere, we would get like nothing, we would get ready to leave, we would get something, and then nothing again.
I'm kind of glad we didn't have anything like substantial like convent, since that's the
That's where we had to
bunkhouse.
sleep, so.
Yeah.
I think
It
that's kind of
makes
the
me
part
feel a
why
little bit
we
like-
didn't really want to investigate it.
Yeah.
I'd rather
Especially-
live in
well-
ignorance.
Especially after the final walkthrough and how we felt leaving the school, I didn't want to also feel bad in the place
Where
that I
we
was
were
sleeping.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's bad enough that there's a crawl space from
From the
The
school
The
school.
into
school
the
to the
convent.
convent.
Yeah. it's that's bad enough.
Hopefully that makes it into a short at some point. Alex just man-loading it through the little crawl space.
Do we have that on video, like from your POV?
I think we have Alex's POV and my POV on the end that he went through.
I'll have to look for it. I don't remember seeing that footage.
I'll have to look. I don't
God.
remember.
Yeah. All right,
Uh.
and then we wrapped up the night with our solos but together.
Yeah, there just wasn't much space to spread out there.
Yeah.
If we wanted to do real solos there, we would have to do like one person in a
buildings.
building kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's like-
And
So,
not even like separate, like it would have to be one person in the buildings, because
Yep.
we had Justin up in the choir area, and I was down, and Kaylee was down in like the cupboard, and I was on the stage, and we were just hearing that motherfucker the whole time.
Oh my god, there
That
was
is
a point it
complete
didn't make it
separate
into the
ends.
video, but Justin got bored in his spot and decided to come down to Alex,
got
and he's
so
just
bored.
stomping through the entire church, and me and Cody go, "Did you hear that? Somebody just walked across the entire church."
I remember specifically pointing my flashlight at the staircase because I thought I was about to see a shadow stomping down the
Yeah.
stairs because it sounded so perfect. Oh,
I don't think it made it into the
asshole.
video.
Stay in their spot for a while.
Hold on. The reason I did get up actually wasn't to go visit Alex. It was because I wanted to go beef with Peter again, but I didn't get anything, so it didn't make it into the video.
So yeah, that's right.
I went
so
in
you
there.
to
I
the
think I
choir
called him.
area,
I think I called him
upstairs.
like Paul or something.
You did!
'cause I was-
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that was the
correct.
other issue. He was calling him Paul.
This is like 4 a.m. We were all
Oh,
Yeah,
no,
I
we were
was-
eating,
Yeah,
we
we
were
were
done.
I know Lindsay at this point had been up for over 24 hours.
Yeah,
she worked
that was
that
the same.
morning.
Me and Lindsay both had been. We both opened prior to that.
Yeah, I opened
Yeah.
that morning too, so
Yeah.
we were all approaching
you
the
guys
24-hour
were-
mark.
Yeah.
We're getting loopy. But yeah, I mean, I heard some pretty profound knocks in my spot, I remember, that I couldn't explain what it was, because like there wasn't a whole lot in that room. There was like some old vintage beer bottles, but those were like on the floor, and what I was hearing was like in the shelving right next to me.
Yeah. No, I think as far as solos go, I think you had the most like activity with your
like
solo
yeah.
butt together.
Yeah, our solo. And I remember I kept mentioning it in the video too. I was getting obnoxious about it, where I kept saying, "It is so cold in here," because it literally felt like a breeze.
I am
just like
literally freezing.
I am literally freezing. Like I had
that
to
in the
keep rubbing
trailer?
my legs.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's why I pointed it out.
But it's interesting because, like, at the beginning, so I'm in this, like, pantry cupboard thing in the kitchen, and I closed the door because I didn't want Cody contamination, and I put my REM pod in front of me, and the temperature... the temperature went to warm
Fucking
on my REM
weird.
pod, and I'm like, okay, this makes sense because I closed the door and my body heat is in here, blah, 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 blah. And I reset my REM pod. I didn't get any other hits on it throughout the night, so I just assumed that was it. So it was weird that it was getting cold in there. I would have expected it to get warmer in there with me being in there with my body heat and yapping and having the door closed. So it was weird. Yeah, did you guys have any other experiences during your solo you want to touch on? It's pretty quiet.
I had the same. So for a good bit of the night, I had my REM pod millimeter combo sitting on a chair near where the altar would have right, like at the far end of the church. And I got a lot of like decent responses from it, but outside of that, nothing crazy.
It did like applaud Justin's
Yeah,
It did.
I was gonna say
that
that
was
was
cool.
for me.
That
That
was-
was
yeah,
the
that was
coolest
really
part of my
cool.
solo. Was getting like essentially a like applause.
Yeah, that's what it
Yeah,
felt like.
that was
Because it
cool.
waited
Very much.
until you finished, and then it just went.
Yeah. I like.
Yeah, that was good.
I think that was the like coolest part to me, was that it wasn't like it would go off like a tick or two every once in a while I was playing, but it like really went off when I finished, and then it just
Mhm.
didn't go off again.
And then it went off when you messed up your song.
Yeah.
Yeah, then it went off.
Yeah. But that is in line with me getting bullied, so a theme that you guys are going to see many, many times in the future.
Justin cameras get the best POV. Justin getting bullied.
Justin cameras get the real content.
I've been called so many names in the spirit box in just a couple of
Did you get
investigations.
called Four Eyes at a different location on our
Yes.
talk?
Yep.
Yes, our literal
At
last
our last one at the investigation to
Yeah.
come. Yeah.
and it was clear. It was like very clear.
Yeah, very clear.
Spoiler alert,
Wait,
that
was
was
it-
in an Estes session.
Oh,
You got
that's
called
right.
for us.
Okay, yeah, I
Oh,
can
Yeah.
under
remember the
Estes,
Spirit
yeah.
Box or Spirit Talker. It was Estes. You're right. Oh my gosh, that's funny. All right, so then we wrapped up our solos, and Lindsay and Justin went to bed, and me, Cody,
Eepy.
and Alex, we just wanted to do a
Very
final walkthrough because it's another thing that we like to do at the end of investigations, is just go through, say thank you in case we don't like make it back in the morning or whatever.
Another low tech.
Yeah, another low tech
yeah.
walkthrough where we just say, thank you for communicating with us, stuff like that, just to wrap up our night and, just bring it to a close. And we walked through the church first, and I don't recall anything really, like, happening. I know we
No.
turned on the IDC once in the church area. but we didn't really get a whole lot. But then we went to the school, and that was a rancid feeling.
That was probably the closest. That was probably the closest to what I could describe how me and Cody felt 10, 11 years ago.
Yeah. No,
That is probably the
actually,
close. Like so that feeling that he was talking about. That is probably the closest I've felt to that like general feeling.
I don't think it was like as
No.
severe. But like we hear, like, we're about to walk in, we hear the noise like outside, and like, you know, probably a neighbor. At this point we're going on like, what was it, 5 in the
It was
morning
like
or something
5 in
like
the morning,
that.
and we made a joke because we were seeing like people starting to like get up and get ready for
Get
work.
up for
We
their
saw,
day,
like, you know,
yeah.
construction truck or something. We're like, oh, those guys, they're being productive members of society, and here we are,
Yeah,
ghost
right, and
hunting or
we're out
whatever.
here, you know.
And then from the hole in the church that we mentioned earlier with the tarp, we just heard like this, like clanging, like just metal like falling off of something inside of the church. And then we heard that rock kind of get like tossed towards
Sounded like it got
us.
tossed. Yeah.
Yeah.
Rock fell, and then we're like, okay, that was weird. We walk in the building, and it literally, like, I remember I got to the edge of the stairs, and I just stopped, because I'm like, this just doesn't feel right. And then I started hearing things upstairs. Like, we heard water drops. There was a big puddle upstairs, but then I was hearing, like, something else metallic, too. You couldn't really hear it on the video, but it was just like, something is, like, moving up there. Like, it could be an animal, it could be a spirit, it could be who knows. And it just
Could be the worst case, it could be someone,
though,
like, actually, yeah.
Yeah, because there's a ton of access points at that location with the amount of construction that they're doing. And that's always in the back of our mind is like, is this a person? Like, are we in physical danger?
People may have caught it, but that's why on my backpack I have that, like, little aluminum bat.
Mm-hmm.
That's my, like, little safety precaution in
I
case,
always
like,
carry,
someone breaks in.
I carry around my neck, I have pepper spray and a whistle. A whistle because I can't whistle normally, so if I need to get one of the team's attention, that's like the only way that I can really do it. And then I have pepper spray. And just to derail for a little bit, I have anxiety because I was at a location with 2 of my other investigators on my other team, and I had to call the police because people tried to break into the building. So that's always in the back of my mind, and Jericho definitely was not the most secure place.
I think the one thing with Jericho though is it's like there are a lot of houses around there, like within literal like view.
Like,
So,
I could
for
throw
me, that
a
was
fucking ball and hit a house from, like, any direction.
Yeah.
so for me that was like a little bit of a safety net. I get a little bit more nervous when we go to the like out in the middle of nowhere locations where it's like, you know, literally no one's around. Jericho is that like perfect sweet spot of like it's quiet, but there are like family houses nearby.
Right.
Yeah.
But I always get nervous because not necessarily that the people that break in are going to be dangerous towards us, but it's like, okay, this is a known haunted spot in this in this area. There could be kids that, you know, oh, let's go check out the haunted house on a Saturday
night. Or like, let's just
night.
fuck with people.
Yeah, or there's people that don't really like what they're doing at Jericho and having investigators come and they're, you know, pissed off about it and they want people to not come and do that. So you never know. You can never be too careful.
Yep.
But yeah, rancid feeling.
Terrible. And I remember like Alex, he said like he's down for whatever, and I was like, nah, this ain't it. And I felt so uncomfortable with it that I wanted to make sure that you 2 like left and I was the last one coming out just in case someone like came out and rushed. I wanted to make sure I was that like line of defense because it just felt so negative.
It was not good.
Yeah.
And we say it in the video, like, end on a good note, just let's head to bed, let's leave whatever it is alone.
Yeah, that's the other thing. It's like
I think
we
Alex
were
put
literally
it,
headed to bed.
Yeah, I think Alex put it right. That was probably, I think I can concur, that was some of the closest.
That was the closest
that I felt to the day. Yeah.
Even compared to what we felt at the non-disclosed location?
So that one, I'm on the fence with that one.
That one, I didn't. So a lot of it, I didn't feel unsafe. I just felt unwelcome. There's a
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
The
think there's a
rants,
very
like-
distinct difference
Mm-hmm.
where at this to come location, to be announced location that we've investigated, I think the feeling of being unwelcomed, and not to go too in depth because obviously video's
Yeah.
still to come. Stay on the lookout. We got a lot of work to do, but video to come. Definitely, it just felt unwelcome compared to just not feeling good, unsafe.
yeah.
Don't like it. Not. It wasn't even like an unwelcome feeling when we stepped in that church. It was, are you going to tempt
yeah.
this?
yeah,
Do you want to play the game? Kind of thing. You know what
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean?
that was definitely like a darker.
Not saying
because
there's
most
anything
of
specifically dark
no,
at Jericho.
no. It felt it felt threatening in a
it
sense.
did. And
Yeah.
Not like a dark or evil way.
Malicious
just
intent.
felt- Yes, that's the right word.
Yeah, a malicious
whereas-
intent without it being like this is a specifically dark entity or
Mhm.
something else or whatever it may be. Because all night, nothing bad like that.
Yeah.
Good vibes,
Mhm.
positive interactions, the funny ha-has and all that good stuff, and then that step in there and it
Mhm.
just complete 180. So I think, once again, I think that is the most chilling feeling I've had while
I'm getting chills like rethinking about it
yeah,
right now.
but later on at the next investigation, that was just a very unwelcome feeling on top of
It felt
what else
it felt
happened
sad.
that we
It
had
felt
happen
sad
that
and
night.
unwelcome.
Yeah.
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 All right. Well, yeah, not to keep tempting what's coming up next, but we do have a lot in the works. But just to wrap up Jericho, thoughts? Do you guys think Jericho is haunted? Thumbs up.
I think so.
Yeah.
Thumbs up.
Yeah.
Lindsay, do you have any
I think there's
extra
some stuff
thoughts?
going on there.
No,
I know
I don't
you-
think so.
I know you like to observe, but I just want to make sure you say your piece before we sign off.
No, I think you guys summed it up pretty well.
Yeah, I think
Obviously,
we're...
being the scientist, Lindsay's much more of a observe, note take, kind of get all the data. So
Mhm.
we love that, though. We need that because, like
We
we
do.
said in the beginning, we're a bunch of yappers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, we need that.
We've been here for like what, an hour already? Over an hour
Yeah.
just
Over an
yapping.
hour.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
yapping. But
Yeah.
yeah, I think we all want to go back. We're definitely going to go back.
Yeah.
Yes.
Love
Absolutely.
this location. If anyone's in the Wisconsin area, check it out. Check out their Facebook page.
Absolutely.
It's Jericho Trinity. Support them, love them. They're doing a great job restoring these buildings,
Mhm.
which we love to support.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have anything else you wanted to say, Justin? I kind of cut you off.
I was just gonna say, like, I'm really excited to go back. Like, one last thing I want to say on, like, just Jericho as a location. I grew up religious. Went to a private Lutheran church and school for first 9 years of schooling. Family's always been very, very involved. And so when it comes to the paranormal, the like religious side of things is what always like fascinates me the most. And so I was really excited to go to somewhere that like kind of hit home like that. And I don't know, I really like that kind of vibe, and even things like the school. Like, I'm excited to go back and see if we can see if we get those vibes again, and like
Recreate /
Yeah. And a goal for me is to like I don't like push a little bit more on those experiences, like see what is going on a little bit more. Obviously, as safely and like taking taking signs, but I like that like uncomfortability. That night, I'm glad I didn't
Push
come
the
with you
limit.
because I was way too tired and I did not want to push the limit that night. But going back, I feel like if I was there for that, like I would love to just kind of at least see what's happening. So
Yeah, I think we all have a lot of unanswered questions now about the school
yeah,
that we want to go back and look into.
What I will say, kind of to Justin's point, is that in retrospect, it was a feeling that I would definitely have challenged.
Yep, exactly. That's kind
If
of
it
what I'm
wasn't
getting
like
at.
if it wasn't our like final walkthrough, just kind of saying goodnight and thank you and stuff, it was definitely a feeling that I think I would have challenged, because once again,
Yeah.
it didn't feel like an unwelcoming challenge.
Yeah.
It felt like a challenge. It felt like a, hey, you sure you want to come in here?
Yeah, not to tease the like upcoming stuff again, but like that was a situation where it's like, oh, like clearly we should like respect this, get out.
Yeah,
But there was
yeah.
one part of that too that I was like, oh, I wish I pushed a little bit further in, or like went to investigate it a little bit by myself, because there are those like little energies where it's like, yeah, you're unsettling, like whatever's going on in here is very uncomfortable. But I think that's the point. Like, that's how I'm going to get something here. Like, document
Yeah.
something.
I know
Yeah.
that's
I'd say-
Go ahead, Cody, first.
I was just gonna say it's not all sunshines and rainbows. Like what we're
Oh,
doing
Yeah.
is it is the paranormal. It's death.
Yeah.
It is, and there's locations that have the hard to talk about histories, the things you want to hide in the dark. So it's definitely, there's certain times when it's okay to push, obviously not provoke and be disrespectful, but there's certain times to push.
Yep.
There's other times, like we talked about, that it is time to call it and know your
Mhm.
limits kind of thing. I think
Yep.
looking back at it for Jericho, if it wasn't that last walkthrough, that would have been I could push this.
I mean,
Yeah, that would have been a
already made the
gung-ho, I'm
comment.
going
Yeah,
in.
you made the
Yep.
comment, you're down for whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think they
I
made the
mean,
right decision in the end, though. I
No,
truly
100%.
feel like
for
100%.
a final walkthrough, that was a good
If
choice.
it happened 2 hours beforehand,
Yep.
oh, easily I would have been up there.
I think I would have pushed it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
I know that that's some goals that we have as we continue to do this, is that we want to push ourselves too. We want to do more real solos. We want to do more challenges. We had some planned, but because of the night that we had at this undisclosed location, we were not able to do any of our solos or challenges. But I know that's definitely something in the future that we're all willing to do.
Yeah. Kaylee and I take a lot from shout out Project Fear. We love them. We love watching them. So we take a lot of kind of notes
Inspiration.
for some of the stuff they do. Yeah, some inspiration from some of the unhinged shit they do. So
Probably won't go
Oh,
as extreme as them, at least not anytime soon. But
I mean,
No,
yeah,
it's fine.
I think get a
If you
couple
want
under
it-
our
if you
belt.
want ex-
yeah.
If you want extreme, just throw me at it. Just throw me at it. Easy peasy.
Spoiler, non-spoiler alert. Just throw me at it before I do what I did this last
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. And then
gotta
pull
be
you
more
away
aware.
from it, like,
Yeah.
a little bit more.
Yeah, yeah.
I have my opinions about how. I mean, I've talked about undisclosed location.
Yeah, I can't
And
wait
how
to
That's
do
gonna be
our
that's gonna be a
wrap-up
fun
there.
video.
We'll get into that.
That's
Yeah,
gonna
we'll
be
get
a
into
fun
that.
podcast to talk
That's
about.
yeah.
The Yap
Yeah,
Cast.
I think we can we have all have a lot to say about that location. And I mean, Justin, Kaylee, and I we carpooled there, and that was a multiple hour road trip where we did not shut the fuck up about it on the way home.
Yep.
So there's a lot that we can talk about as a group for that location. I'm excited
Yeah.
for
Half
that
of our
to
footage is
come
us at the place where we were sleeping, just talking about what the heck is going on.
Yep.
Oh.
We'll sit down.
Well, let's wrap up Jericho.
Yeah.
Anything else that we want to talk about before we sign off on this one?
Loved it.
Loved it.
Yeah, loved it.
Loved it.
Can't wait to go back.
Absolutely. Stay tuned.
Well, subscribe if you enjoyed, if you want to see more of our adventures as we keep doing this thing and discovering weird experiences.
See what's
And
the
yeah.
unknown.
Ring the notification bell, like
Leave
Like
a
the
comment.
get all of our shorts, get all our videos.
Also,
Run,
we're on social media everywhere.
Nope.
Midwest Boo Crew. Links are in our YouTube channel page.
Let's say leave us comments. We're obviously new. We're just starting out. If you guys have suggestions, we're free to hear it. Constructive criticism, whatever you guys got for us.
If
We-
you're a
we need
Justin
it.
Cammer, drop it in the comments.
We're all
Justin
Justin
Cameras in the
Cameras at heart.
comments.
All right, we'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
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 Bye, Justin Cammers.